To the third part of today's chess boxing event. We have 3 fights for you. They're very heavyweight. Are you ready? It's time! For the first fight, in the red corner with the white pieces, all the way from Germany, we have Hassan Hussein Selik. This is Hassan's second fight.
Hassan doing flips onto the stage, getting ready to rumble.
Sorry, this is with the black pieces. And with the white pieces on the red corner, we have Gabriel Lacoutre from France. This is the under 95 kilograms.
Okay, so we have Hassan the man doing backflips, and against a French chess boxer.
This is Pierre. Pierre, vive la France! Is that right, Guillaume?
With a French, with a red shirt.
All
red
right.
jersey.
First things first. While this game gets started, we'll talk about the opening. But I'd like to introduce myself, and I'd like to introduce my co-commentator tonight. My name is Matt Thomas. I'm from the United States. Unfortunately, the only American here this
Why,
weekend.
unfortunately, we like things that are unique.
Team,
you know?
No Team USA. We're going to do better next year. But I am sitting next to the GOAT of chess boxing, the undefeated, the recently featured in a film doing the rounds at film festivals all over the world next year.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, Carl, how you feeling? You ready for these?
I'm feeling great. I'm just really worried that if I have to stay a week, how many kilos I'm going to put on because of the pasta and the pizzas and the.
Don't forget the gelato. It's a sin to forget the gelato.
Oh, I got the Aperol Spritz to think about too.
And a massive shout out to Volfango, the organizer for this World Championship. We are in beautiful Riccione, Italy. How'd I do? Did I get it?
I think you got it.
I got it. All right, cool.
Next time it has to be in Rimini. It's easier to pronounce.
All right. Yeah, good call. Yeah, we'll do a little tour of the world, and drop in the comments if you want us to come to your city, if you want chess boxing to come to you. Let us know. But let's dial in here. We have the opening underway. Looks like we've seen at least a pawn come off the board. What do you make of this position?
Might be a second one there with that Queen C8. He's no longer defending the pawn on E7, so. Just the rook can just sort of come up and sway out. So that's being protected. You saw it.
Yep. So rook E8 protects that pawn that Carl was just talking about.
Okay. So what?
And now we've equalized.
Now we've gone back.
And he blundered a.
Yeah. A piece.
Blundered a piece. So he's down 3.
Hassan, I think at this point is a good moment to slow down. Even if you're down on, I know it might seem counterintuitive. But just regroup, just make the guy panic that, everything's going to be done on the boxing now, right? So by slowing down the pace, all that psychology before the first rounds happened is just going to be, all that more felt.
That's right. And he is already down on the clock about 25 seconds. So he might be feeling that time pressure a little bit. He might be feeling both the time and the positional pressure that he's behind on points, he's behind on time going into this first boxing round. So with your chess boxing experience, if you were in Hassan's position, what would you be thinking going into this first chess boxing round?
Well, it's also I just I'm thinking of chess boxing is chess boxing and time. There are 3 actors in this show, right? There's not only 2. So you're losing on 1. Boxing, we have to wait for it. Just slow down. Okay, it's not the end of the world. You can't really count up the chess at this point, right? So, and that's an illegal move that he'll have to be taken back.
So right as that bell rings, we have one illegal move. He marks it, and off the fighters go to their corners. Now, this is the first time in chess boxing history that I've seen the board actually outside of the ring. I like this setup that Volfango concocted. He is a showman, if nothing else. He knew how to set up a very cool venue for our World Championship this year. And both of our fighters are making their way to their corners. Our French fighter is in the red corner. Our German fighter is in the blue corner. Gloves are coming on. The headgear is staying off. We are in main event regulations here, so no helmets, but there are rumors around the ring that you may be competing in a newer chess boxing rule set called Chessboxing Light. Can you confirm or deny?
I can let it float as an idea and before to create a bit of a suspense. But yes, I'm not sure I have an opponent yet, and I would prefer to fight somebody maybe around my chess level who hasn't want to fight yet and wants this lighter version, rather than I think the show is off and we kind of have to put our attention back.
That's right. Like a raging bull, Hassan comes out like crazy, like we know him.
Like
German
Hassan,
fighter, yes. Like we've seen him in Paris, like we've seen him in SED. He comes out guns a-blazing, swinging hard. He really likes this peekaboo style. He reminds me a lot of Joe Frazier. A very, very busy, bouncy, making his way in to land these looping shots. Not a whole lot of straight shots. He really comes in with these overhand rights, these weird angles, very unique style that Hassan has.
I must admit that Gabriel is taking it extremely well and staying focused. I'm seeing his focus. He's taking the punches. He's not deflecting his eyes from Hassan, and he's basically waiting maybe.
Yeah, the problem with Gabriel right now, though, is that he's pushing more than he's punching. He's just trying to push Hassan off over and over again, and he's eating shots when he comes back in. It's not working. He needs to create space and then throw the jab, make him respect the jab, keep the distance between him and Hassan, so he's not always up in his face, landing these hooks again and again. This is a one-sided round so far.
It's definitely one-sided. I'm just thinking, oh, well, there you go.
There's some counters. Oh, he's taking it for the show. He's taking it to give a big overhand right. And another. Okay. It looks like they're just opting to trade now.
I think the ref is right in not stopping it because each of them are taking big blows, but they're giving them back.
It's true, and it doesn't look like these are actually doing serious damage. Gabriel's doing a decent job of rolling with the punch, not going into it. He's absorbing it, and Hassan, I don't think he feels pain.
Does he know the meaning of the word?
I don't think so.
But this is definitely, this is a show.
Talk about entertainment. This is back and forth. This is what you want when two chess boxers enter the ring. It's shot after shot, missing. There's definite fatigue here. I think maybe both fighters showing some of their experience. These are two of our newer fighters. Gabriel is new to the Chessboxing France team, and Hassan is in his third fight. Guillaume is losing his mind, just sitting there trading.
This is one of the best.
Gabriel is no longer really throwing punches. He's making it look like he's throwing punches, but there are not hips or shoulders in it. I think he's dazed. I think he's very fatigued. Hassan has found his second wind in this latter half of the round.
But it's something you don't see much in amateur boxing for the simple reason that everybody has to, you have to pace yourself to make the other rounds. Here they know they're going to have like a 4 or 5 minute rest. And so you could just be completely explosive, 100% violent.
That's right. You can dump all that energy. And that last 10 seconds was electric. We love to see the sportsmanship at the end of the round with a big hug. The French team is going crazy in the red corner, and Germany is just as proud of their boy in the blue. So we are about to have 1 minute transition and make our way back to the chess board, and in just a second we're going to be able to display that chessboard so we can study the position a little bit before the players resume. But before we do, just an assessment of that round. I'd say a clear win. I'd say a 10-9 round at least to Hassan. Maybe an argument could be made for a 10-8. There was no knockdown, but I would say that the vast majority of the volume and the power punches landed in that round did go to Hassan. So I wouldn't judge a judge who scored that a 10-8, but I would have scored it a 10-9.
I would probably agree with that. I try to take it outside, extract it from the quantitative on this point. For me, that was just more of a show on how it's going to affect the chess. I do have the impression that both boxers at the end of that round felt like they fought a full fight, and the hug it wasn't a touch of the gloves, it was actually a hug as if the fight had already been in the past.
Yeah, and we love that kind of sportsmanship. It's such a small community. We're tight knit. We're fighting friends here, And so that's an important thing to remember when you're watching these fights. You can also see the effects of that boxing round all over the face and the heaving of the chest, especially look at Gabriel. That big chest breath, man. One of the things my year, when I fought in 2018, I really focused on breath work in between rounds. I did a version of breath from yoga called Kapalabhati, or fire breath, to psych myself up before boxing rounds, because you get really cold, to your point earlier. That 5 minutes in between rounds is a lot of recovery time, maybe too much recovery time, to where you exit that fight or flight state, you dump adrenaline, your heart rate slows. You don't want to start a boxing round that way, so you want to psych up your central nervous system again. And I would do the opposite before a chest round. I'd really try to focus on exhaling longer than I inhale. Signal in my central nervous system it's okay to exit fight or flight, dump adrenaline, and move my body and my brain's resources back to the part of my brain that's better at playing chess. So I'm not playing chess from my primal part, my caveman part that knows how to fight, playing chess from the part of my brain that's good at visualization, good at pattern recognition, good at thinking moves ahead. And I hope that as we move forward as a sport, those little kinds of iterations and alterations to how people treat even things that seem not as important in between rounds continue to evolve. And with it being such a young sport, I'm sure you've seen the same kind of evolutions.
Well, what's going to happen is at some point the fighters, those who've experienced it, are going to become trainers. And that hasn't happened really yet, right? So when that does happen, we're going to gain a whole lot of experience of the little things. I was telling Thomas earlier that, putting your arms on the ball, like they're doing now, right? I never do that because that could tire my triceps. So I'm always thinking all the little things. And breathing between rounds, even if I'm going to lose a little bit of time on the clock, I prefer losing it for doing a proper breathing than rather losing it because I'm actually thinking about chess moves.
Great points. Those little tricks can make all the difference. And we said earlier, it's not just chess, it's not just boxing, it's not just time either. It's state change management. How do you transition between two opposite activities? How do you control your brain? How do you control your body to be able to perform to its best ability when you're doing each opposite expression?
10-second count. Hassan still got 29 seconds, so is going to go through that round. We're going to see another round of boxing.
And there's the bell. We're coming back to the boxing ring. And sorry we didn't have the DGT active during that round. We couldn't talk too much about the chess. We are in and out of technical difficulties with the chessboard. Just like in mainstream chess, sometimes that happens. It's not a perfect science here.
There was a lot of things hanging. The king, Hassan's king, was slightly in danger, I think. But the main thing here is the time. There's like a 2-minute difference, and Hassan's down to 28 seconds on the clock. So there won't be. I think that this has to be the last round of boxing anyway. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and just to circle back to that same time component, if last round was urgent for Hassan in the boxing ring, knowing that he was behind on pieces, now it's even more urgent. It's very unlikely for Hassan to make it out of this next chess round, so we're going to see him come out knowing he needs to finish the fight in this boxing round.
Have they got fatigue from the last round? Have they recovered during? What do you think? Like there are certain states, certain cardio systems.
Oh my God! Huge overhand right lands for Hassan. Another right lands. That looping overhand right. Oh my God! Another straight to the chin. Gabriel just keeps eating them again and again. Oh, he's down. That overhand right keeps landing and finally put Gabriel, the French fighter, off his feet onto the ground. We're in the first 30 seconds of this round. There are 2.5 minutes left for Hassan to be able to finish this fight.
But that might have been, that energy system, which is that, 10 to 15 second explosion. And maybe the other energy system, the one that comes after that, not the aerobic, but the one in the middle, maybe he will feel tiredness in about, say, 30
time
seconds.
will tell, but there's another stoppage. Another big right hand lands, and that's 2 stoppages in this round.
That's over in this one. It's only 2.
And there it is. It ends in the first minute. Hassan able to save himself from timing out on the chessboard, able to save himself from a chess position that was lost, and able to finish his French opponent by TKO. First, a knockdown, clean knockdown off his feet. Second, the ref steps in. Gabriel was no longer intelligently defending himself, and those overhand rights were landing again and again. Good call by the ref to call that one.
very difficult style to deal with, especially that there's a lot of head going very low. So, even the ref doesn't really know what to do with that, and you don't see the punches coming. It's a little bit style, but it's styles make fights.
I would have loved to see more uppercuts from Gabriel. I think what was missing from his defense was a step back rock step and using his hips to throw an uppercut. And I think if he caught the chin, he would at least make Hassan respect that he shouldn't bull rush with his head down. And maybe would have landed something that would have stunned or further fatigued Hassan.
Most definitely. Yeah, a bit of a sidestep, a bit of a footwork, some kind of management other than what was predictable from him after the first few minutes.
And here we go. Next fighter's coming out. We got the walkouts coming in hot.
Bit of a Beavis and Butthead moment there.
Smells like team spirit. Yeah, we got a good head bob going. We can't even see the fighter walking out yet. They should have had the camera on us.
Another French fighter having the white pieces, I guess.
All right, so this is Pierre. This is also Pierre's first world championship, and he is a under 75 kilogram fighter.
As Valentin Marcel won that category last year, and now he's in the under 85, not even under 80.
He put on a lot of weight, and who knows why he would have done that.
God knows. I mean, you'd have to be crazy to do that.
I think he had a death wish.
Uh-huh. Must be it. That must be it.
Yeah. All right, the headphones are coming on. If you are new to chessboxing, you're wondering what the headphones are. We do put on noise-canceling headphones in order for coaching to be more difficult from either the crowd or a coach during chess.
Or commentators, for that matter.
Or commentators, because we are talking about chess positions that could give hints to what to do or not to do. And in some promotions around the world, not only are there noise-canceling headphones, they actually have music playing inside of them. So that Smells Like Team Spirit that we just heard, sometimes that's blasting in the ears.
I was told that there's hard rock this time.
I like it, yeah. So they're taking a page out of the Finnish book. We were at an event in Helsinki in 2019 where they played death metal in the ears of every fighter.
I would actually put a veto down there because I that happened to me once in London, and I must admit that it really put me off because I like funky music,
Yeah, the music is something that's a little controversial when the rule set comes into play. And right now it's up to the promotion, but if it were up to me, I think it should be up to the fighters to agree.
Most definitely. We will come to an agreement.
They're the ones completing. Yeah.
So this is a London system. I know we can't see very well because of the DGT, but it's symmetrical. The knight on c6, if you see this is a knight on c6, this is slightly an inaccuracy in this type of system.
And we for the black pieces, we have the light square bishop outside of the pawn chain, so it looks almost like a Slav, although that c pawn is not out.
It remains a London in the sense that c pawn for white is on c3 rather than c4. But it's for me, especially this knight on c6, which gave me a little hint that actually black might be improvising a bit here, not really knowing because there's no pressure on this pawn. You see, if the pawn, if it was behind his pawn and the pawn was on c5, he would actually be pressuring it, meaning that the other ones, maybe not to win it, but maybe the other pawns, the structure would be fixed at that point.
Poking, prodding, almost like a jab, trying to find a hole in the defense of the opponent.
Well, this is it. It's like people think, you attack a piece to win it. No, you don't. You attack a piece because maybe you're gaining a tempo on a piece. Maybe you're fixing another piece to the defense. So there are a whole load of reasons that you're going to attack something.
And in terms of advantages right now, there is a time advantage for our French fighter with the black pieces, and there is a positional advantage for white. Pieces are more developed and working better together. The black pieces have doubled pawns on the c-file. Queen is kind of awkwardly positioned.
Oh, that's a pawn, I believe. That is a pawn on h3 that was just snatched off the board immediately. So he's definitely very tactically aware. And you see that knight business that I was talking about earlier, that's been solved by itself because white exchanged his active knight for it. So
I just had a chess lesson. Shout out to Deepak, Aaron, and your friend, GM
I have many GM friends.
I'm blanking. My lack of sleep is coming into play here. Well, anyway.
What nationality is he?
He's Russian.
He's Russian.
Timur
Gariev.
Timur. Yeah, there we go. Timur. So anyway, what they said about exchanging is you don't want to exchange a piece, a good piece, for a piece that's bad. So that knight wasn't doing a whole lot. The light square bishop, the light square bishop was really good, and it was an improper trade. So, how would you assess this now? 10 seconds left in the round. Has Black clawed his way back, or are we even?
I think Black is doing fine, and I think that the main issue once again is with time, meaning that he's got a slight edge with a good time advantage. And he's having. Now, I know the German fighter, we've seen him before in sets. He fought against Paul Duche.
Against Paul, that's right. This is Leo.
Yeah, and he's had a very good evolution in his boxing. I follow him on Instagram. I don't know what his @ is, but you could probably find him. And we could see that he's very implicated in evolving very fast. Even the chess is looking half decent there.
Yeah, and fantastic athlete, great build, very new to chess boxing and combat sports in general.
Exactly, that was surprising.
That showed in set, but I talked to his coach, also from Berlin, head of chess boxing Berlin, Juppy, and he was saying how much improvement and how motivating the loss in May was in preparation for the World Championship. So he's had about 5 months to improve upon his performance, and we're about to see what the fruits of that labor are. So seconds out. Bell's about to ring. Ref signals good to go. Gloves touch, and here we go.
I love this calm.
A lead cross from our French fighter. Oh, a good cross lands for Leo.
He's looking proper boxing style. Taking it nice and slow.
Yep, I like the duck and roll from the French fighter. Showed some defensive acumen there, getting underneath the jab of Leo. Throwing a good counter there, too, rolling underneath, kind of sidestepping, almost like a matador sidesteps a bull, and throwing a counter right that wobbled Leo.
The matador. How would you get this analogy of the matador, Matt?
You know, being in chess boxing circles, it brings back some old memories, maybe some old versions of myself.
The French fighter needs to keep his distance much more. He's doing well at distance. He's doing terribly when he's getting up close. So he needs to keep the distance going. He's rolling with that punch, so that's fine, but...
Well, one thing to watch is footwork. So there's a lot of galloping happening for the French fighter. And what I mean by galloping is his feet will come together when he moves. So his feet get really close together, and he kind of gets hung up like he did there. And you can get off balance, you can get knocked down. So watch the footwork. The footwork for Leo is actually a lot better. He has a wider stance. His knees are bent. His power is coming from his hips. And now he's overwhelming the French fighter. I think a lot of it is footwork. He's using his body a lot better. He's moving a lot better. He's shutting down the space and pushing his opponent into corners, which this is one of another great analogy between boxing and chess is ring generalship and controlling squares on the board. If you control the 4 center squares on the chessboard, you can force your opponent into corners. You can force them to do things that they don't want to do. Leo just showed how you can do the same thing in boxing, controlling the center of the ring, pushing your opponent into the ropes or into corners, and then being able to have your way with them.
He's doing a bit of a tortoise there. That's my technique. You just wrap up and put the helmet on.
Is that the new ring name? Are you Carl the tortoise?
I think I'm going to have another veto on that.
Okay,
full of vetoes.
No death metal and no tortoises. Got it. Rules have been established. All right, big right hand goes just over the head. The French fighter, good timing again on that duck.
Yeah, he's doing very well when the head movement is fine. It's the footwork he has to work on.
No, his feet are flat. He's on his heels. He just went into a neutral stance, which knocked him back into the ropes. The biggest area for improvement right now for the French fighter is the footwork.
Definitely. But as long as he's keeping his distance, he's doing it. And he is actually...
His right hand's coming down when he throws his jab, too. Leo saw it and landed a jab and then a left hook of his own when he saw that right hand come down again. He keeps throwing that hook now. It's slow. It's predictable. Another wrap-up. We got to be getting close to the end of this round.
Have to be.
There's the 10 seconds. Like I planned that.
Definitely. But
big left hook lands right cross down the center. Leo winning the end of the round. It looked like a stumble, not ruled a knockdown.
That looked like a stunt
And
man.
there we go.
Yeah,
he pulled that off well.
Yeah.
That went on another couple of seconds, so that might have been a knockdown. Leo, I think, clearly won that boxing round. Much better footwork, much better pacing. I think cleaner shots landed. I do think a build like Leo's, he's a very muscular, very cut guy. I think sometimes those muscles kind of get in the way of fluidity and agility. So the French fighter was able to see a lot of those big, heavy shots coming and roll underneath them and almost use them against him. So when the French fighter had success in that round, Pierre was able to find shots or holes after the shots of Leo. So the big left hook would go slow over the head, and then Pierre would be able to sidestep and land a right.
The other big problem of muscles being fatigue. It just takes too much out of you. And even maybe here, now this is where the science will one day illuminate us. For the moment, we don't know much about it because there's been no scientists interested in chess boxing. But even during these rounds of chess, maybe a bigger muscle would give you more fatigue. Maybe the recuperation isn't as good, and a lot of heavy breathing on both parts.
Yeah, there's so much experimentation left to do in chess boxing. To your point, I've never thought about leaning on my arms in between rounds, but it makes a ton of sense. Mm-hmm. And prior to my competing in 2018, breathwork was not commonly practiced, and I haven't seen a fighter actively, consciously do breathwork in between rounds yet here. But both of those things are little tricks from experience that have helped both of us immensely in our own ways when we've competed that I think people will continue to pick up and continue to iterate upon and evolve the sport.
I definitely believed that I was doing breathwork in my last fight, and then I watched it, and then I realized that I must be doing something else. Watching
film is a potent mirror to look into, man. It's a good way to know how you're truly doing, and I hope all of our fighters that come to this World Championship watch this back with the kind eyes of a student. Not being too hard on themselves, but also picking themselves apart to be able to see what they can improve.
Well, we always have room for improvement. That's one of the things I like with chess boxing is that you could be world champion all you want. There's always going to be a better boxer out there. There's always going to be a better chess player.
Absolutely.
So we have to remain humble.
Especially as the sport evolves. We saw two fighters earlier today, one a pro boxer, one with over 100 amateur fights. And just, the more people getting attracted to the sport that have a lot of experience, either in chess acumen, lifelong chess players, high ELO, or lifelong boxers. And sometimes a scary combination of both.
Well, this is where it's interesting, is that because it's still new, we're still discovering facets of it. You could have an artistic kind of exhibition fight. You can have like a pro boxer fight. You could have two grandmasters going at it. The matchmaking is obviously important.
Yeah.
So, and it's true that in these type of competitions, we get something else. We get more of a confrontation of styles of a chess player against a boxer, and sometimes the levels are a little bit, too far apart.
That's right. Such an interesting position here. We just saw Rook come off the board. It looks like the French fighter is sacrificing his bishop now.
Is that a bishop?
Yeah.
Okay. It looked like a queen. It was big. But it would have been a weird sacrifice. That is the queen.
I think queen. I think
so the queen's at the bishop's spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Bishop was doing work. So giving up the doubled rooks.
Look at the time, though. There's 14 seconds on the clock for Leo.
He's just moving quick. That's why he's sacrificing pieces.
Yeah. Oh, and it's 11 seconds, and it's a 10-second. Is it going to make the second?
He's just got to keep moving.
He'll never make it, obviously.
Moving. Yeah.
Obviously, it's not going to.
We're going to see another boxing round, ladies and gentlemen. Woo, buddy. 4 seconds left on the clock. Leo knows exactly what he needs to do. Just like his German teammate, he has to win this in this boxing round. There is no other option. 4 seconds on the clock. There is no clear checkmate on the board. This needs to be won in the ring. So Leo right now is talking to his coach. He's looking him in the eyes. He's knowing that, and he's getting told, this is your shot. This is it right now. If you want to keep going in this chess boxing world championship, it comes down to this.
Well, the thing is, it's like for the Frenchman, it's extremely difficult psychologically because he knew it was only 5 seconds away. He could have been the winner, announced the winner right now if it wouldn't have been for 5 seconds. And so to come back from that, he might be doing a lot of backpedaling, trying to just get away, but that was his strategy in the first round anyway. So what will it change anything? I'm not sure. But okay, psyching up I think is good. Psyching up is good.
Yeah. Red needs to be very mobile. He needs to stay away and play defense. Defense is the name of the game in this round. He cannot let Leo back him into corners like he was last round. This is where footwork is really, really going to come in handy. If he's able to take lateral steps and not just steps back, he's going to be able to circle and stay away from ropes, stay away from corners, and use this big ring to his advantage.
But sometimes the second round is so much easier than the first round just because somehow you've digested mentally what's actually going on. You know, and sometimes I box terribly in the first round, and then in the second round I'm actually not doing so badly.
So good few jabs right out of the gate from the French fighter, but now Leo has found his range. He's coming forward. He's coming forward with his guard down. This is baiting shots from the French fighter. He wants the French fighter to punch him. That might sound counterintuitive to someone who's new to boxing, but the reason why that's important is if you take risk, you encourage your opponent to take risk. If your hands are down, you're baiting a shot in so that they throw their hands, which means their hands are no longer defending themselves. So Leo is okay eating a shot to land a bigger shot.
But for the moment, it's working against him because he is eating a few shots without really landing much in response.
Yeah, and I have seen a power jab, I have seen an overhand right, but overall, the first 45 seconds of this round have not yielded much for Leo yet. He needs to get busier. He needs to take a page out of Hassan's book from last fight and come forward.
This is where the muscles and the fatigue. I believe he's fatigued because of his muscles at this point. That's
could
what
be.
Because we could see it's not the same stamina. There's nothing really left on those punches to really worry about, even if they do land.
Yeah, and French fighter is just covering. He's taking a page out of the tortoise book, which I think is smart for him. But there we go, some big shots now starting to get through the guard. We saw 2 shots.
That wasn't a stoppage. That was just saying, keep your head up. Okay.
Some good body shots. Finally, I was waiting for some body shots because the guard is so high for the French fighter. He's just covering up his ears and his forehead, and there's holes right down under the ribs, and those shots hurt, arguably more than headshots.
There's been a slight change of pace here. The French boxer is eating a lot now.
Good, clean jab right through the guard. A good uppercut lands. First uppercut I've seen of the World Championship. Granted, I've only been here 2 fights, but... and we see blood from the nose of the French fighter and exacerbating it more. Another power jab lands right on that nose.
Keep on moving. If you want to win this, you have to keep on moving, even if you're not throwing.
There is zero offense. He is literally just trying to last through the round. I mean, the French fighter is doing absolutely no offense at all at this point.
Well, I definitely can't throw the first stone.
But even if your game plan is being defensive, giving your opponent something to think about, a safe jab, a flick jab, something to have to work through and not just throw these big shots. Another great duck by our French fighter right underneath that big looping hook.
He does that very well, actually.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, sometimes
10 seconds left
when there's nothing happening, and that's where he can get the uppercut.
It all comes down to this. There's 5 seconds.
He's going to make it.
It needs to be a big shot right now from Leo, and it's done. French fighter.
Wow.
All but one. I mean, all he needed to do was survive. I'm feeling echoes of my 2019 World Championship tournament where I needed to knock out my opponent. I didn't get it done. I got 2 knockdowns in a round, and he stumbled to the corner with a big smile on his face, knowing he weathered the storm, and he was a few moves away from checkmate. And I think that Pierre has the same exact thought going through his head. He gets to have his way with Leo however he wants when he makes it back to that chessboard in just a few seconds.
A very good performance by both.
Absolutely, a lot of improvement from Leo. I'm really impressed seeing his better footwork, seeing him set up shots, seeing him being able to land power punches. I think all of those things were lacking in his May fight, where he's come such a long way to show up to this World Championship. I think he should be proud.
Well, it's not over yet. We can't sell the bear's fur before we shoot it.
like they say, the headphones are back on, the hands are shaking, and there it is. Timeout. Game over. France advances through the 75-kilogram bracket in the World Championship tournament. Great sportsmanship from both fighters. So Germany takes fight number 1, and France takes fight number 2 in this France versus Germany duo fight combo.
Little derby there going on.
Oh, very impressed, and we're about to get the official decision, but we all know it's coming from the referee here in Riccione, Italy. Love seeing the French team, how supportive they are, everyone chanting, cheering, celebrating their teammates. France really is putting on a clinic for how to build a team in this chess boxing world, how to travel together, train together, and lift each other up when both when they win and when they fall short.
Well, there's only 4 major nations represented. France. Oh, okay, hang on. There's France, Germany, Russia, Turkey. These are and India.
I mean,
those are the 5.
India and Italy. I mean, Italy has
Italy. That's fair enough.
Yeah, I think bigger teams are starting to come to the World Championship. It's starting to catch, and we have a lot of new countries this year too. We're actually about to see one in our next fight. For the first time ever, we have a Kyrgyzstan fighter going up against a fighter from Turkey. And really excited for this matchup. Really excited to see what Kyrgyzstan has to offer this chess boxing world. And this matchup is going to be wild because these are heavier fighters. This is a 90-kilogram fight. This was my old weight class. So these big boys can pack a punch. I can attest to feeling a few back in my day.
I only competed once in an under 91 in the amateurs because I didn't make weight, and I didn't make weight the week before, and they didn't even let me sweat it out because they said we're going for lunch. Tough. That's Wales for you, man.
You know, I think you need to go back there and teach them a lesson, tortoise style. The game has begun. We are just so we're 4.5 minutes, which means 9-minute chess games, which means 7-round fights. So first round is underway. Just a few seconds off the clock, and already a lot of development happening. Both these fighters moving pretty quickly.
Both knights are coming out for white. Okay, it could have almost been a 4-knight, but he's decided, the Kyrgyz player has decided to go slightly asymmetrical. Oh, that was a piece. That's a piece. He just lost his knight.
It's a blunder, yeah. Just moving it right into the line of fire of that queen. And now the queen is in a precarious position, just staring down at that F-pawn.
And this is something you should never do in chess. Is if you're hesitating about your move, take that hand back.
That E4 pawn was hanging. He could have.
No, the knight. You can't. It's because it's difficult to see that.
Oh, that's right. Good call. What'd I do without you?
I wonder. So no, it's just a piece, but it's a big piece, and
it is, and the debut appearance of this Kyrgyzstan fighter is looking pretty good, up a piece already.
It is, and he's looking relaxed. He's looking like, oh well, if I've got the chess under my belt, the rest is that's a queen. That's his queen down. He got knight takes.
Oh my God, and taken with check too.
Check too.
He could even trade off that bishop, go up even more in material.
He should take it back. Yes, okay. Yes,
he does see taking it back. Good.
Oh, and now he does there's actually a mate in 2 if he is not careful. The bishop comes out to h3.
Yep.
And all those that's one of the.
So one of my chess coaches and my co-host on the Checkout Show on Chess TV on Mondays is Casa Corley. He calls this checkmate combination a X marks the spot.
X marks the spot.
So that bishop coming over to h3. Sometimes the queen is in on h3, but the basic form is that X around the king is controlled by diagonally moving pieces, and the queen delivers the checkmate.
So the thing I wanted to comment about is to not
and it's unstoppable, right?
It's the knight can come to f4, so he can stop it for one more. If he moves the king, it's finished.
It's over.
Yeah, it's over.
We have a first round checkmate. Not a single punch is going to be thrown.
That's I always think
the
that's...
Turkish fighter very disappointed, as anyone would be. But congratulations to our Kyrgyzstan fighter, moving very quickly, using his advantage in chess, and saving himself for later rounds. I mean, this is a very good strategic way to win. When you're fighting multiple times over the course of multiple days, you want to be able to save yourself a little damage in these earlier rounds. So big kudos to our Kyrgyzstan fighter. It looks like he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
I don't know. There's good sides to it. I think that there are also downsides to it. I think that what happens is maybe if he's very experienced boxer, that won't happen to him. But for me, going through to the next round without not at least having one round of boxing, it means all those nerves are going to be still stirring around and not finding that catharsis. So I don't know. If he's used to boxing and for him it's not such a big deal, maybe it's only positive. Otherwise, there's a little bit of both.
And if you're proficient in both and you can exercise your advantage on one, especially the one that saves a little bit of your mental capacity, your fatigue, your recovery, you're setting yourself up for the later round. So I'm excited to follow our debut Kyrgyzstan fighter further in this tournament in the 90 kilogram division, and let's hear it for these incredible fights tonight. Glad we came back to the venue, saw these French versus German showdowns, and saw a new country enter our chess boxing community
in such a style with a first round win. Obviously, it's a little bit of a disappointment for fans in the sense that it's a bit like a non-event. It was a chess game rather than a chess boxing game. But there's also nerves involved. We have to put that under consideration. Maybe that Turkish fighter, in another circumstance, does play actually a little bit more, better chess, but just didn't find his usual game.
That's true. And what we have to remember is this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. This is not a one-night event. We are back the next 4 days with chess boxing action. So even though that last one there wasn't a single punch thrown, we saw 2 great fights before, a lot of action, especially from the German side. And that is just a warm-up for what we have coming Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Finals are going to be Thursday. We have world champions defending their belts. We have multiple-time world champions defending their belts, and a lot of contenders hungry to get their first world title.
Well, I'm just astonished you can still keep track of what day we are. I wouldn't be able to tell you. We are Monday today.
I think so. Yeah, I just flew 20 hours from the United States to Italy. I had some delicious Italian pasta. Again, compliments to our host country this year and the head of our host committee, Volfango, for putting together this production and feeding us delicious pasta. I cannot thank you enough, especially for the latter. And with that, I think
we can wrap it up for today.
We're going to call it a night. We're going to go get some gelato. We're going to see you tomorrow. Be sure to check back on socials, both of your favorite chess boxer and of promotions like the WCBO and the IFC. We're going to come at you with the schedule for tomorrow, so you can watch Chess Boxing Fit, Chess Boxing Light, and the main event progress. So, any final words?
See you tomorrow, I guess.
See you tomorrow. All right.